Geno, I don't know if 13.6 rebounds with 5 assists is what we can expect from Kyle early every night, but if she can do some of the things she did tonight on a consistent basis and give you good minutes, how much does that change things for you?
Well, we just talked about that in the locker room. Sunday, Aubrey came off the bench and gave us some great minutes and impacted the game. And today, Kyla did that. Come off the bench and impact the game. Impacted, offensively, defensively, rebounding the ball, getting loose balls. You want to feel like you have people on the bench that can contribute. However much that is. Sometimes it's a little bit, sometimes it's a lot. So I'm thrilled for her. She's just, she's in a really good place, and she's, really comfortable with this is what I can do and this is what I can contribute, and I'm thrilled for her.
Were you more thrilled for her or to see Anna make the shot? You did a little dance there for Anna.
Did she make one?
Yeah.
She did?
You threw your hands in the air.
And a pirouette.
I got to see it on film. I still don't believe it. How many assists you have tonight? 5 more?
Yeah.
What's she averaging? About 5 a game, isn't she?
At least last 3 games she's had 5 each.
Yeah. Last 3 games she's had 5 assists each. I told her, I said, you really know how to impact the game. She passes to everybody but the net. Like, she hits everything but the net. Her favorite targets are her teammates and the rim. So hopefully she'll start making a couple. But that obviously adds a lot, because not everybody's going to play great every night. Somebody's going to get in foul trouble, or somebody's going to struggle one night. So it's what I like about Anna. She knows how to impact the game, whether she's scoring points or she's not. She's going to have an effect on the game, and when the shots are going in, then she's going to have a huge effect on the game.
Is it just her getting comfortable, Geno, in the flow, in the game?
Is she? A little bit at a time, I think. A little bit at a time. I think she was a little bit preoccupied with, making shots, and when the ball wasn't going in, she was overly obsessing about it, and we know she's a good shooter. We know she's a good player, and the thing we always keep saying, you can still have an effect on the game even if you're not shooting the ball well, and she's been doing that. So little by little, she's getting more comfortable. We've only played 4 games, so hopefully this is, a building block for her, these last 4 games.
Geno, this team has heard how it's not as dominant as previous UConn teams. How much does a game like this and tempo do for their confidence? Are they kind of getting into finding themselves now?
We're getting better at sustaining things for a little bit longer. There's still times when we get bogged down because not everybody's comfortable yet, where when all of a sudden they're in a different spot. But we're getting open shots, we're getting great opportunities, and today we shot the ball pretty well, considering. But little by little, little by little. Our practice yesterday was a little bit different than it was, last week. The Temple really gave them a little pick-me-up, and it carried over into today's shoot-around, and it carried over to tonight's game. So hopefully, we can keep building from there.
Geno, you say little by little. Do you have to be encouraged the way from game 1 to 4 you're moving the ball, touching more hands?
Yeah.
Seem to be more comfortable, running in space and that kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, and it looked especially good with Kyla in there today because she's been around for 4 years, so she knows, where to go to get it, and then where it's supposed to go after I get it, and who to look for. And, when we're doing that, when you have somebody that can really pass and can find you, it's amazing how hard people start to cut, because they know they're going to get it. But yeah, our ball movement from day one to today is it's drastically different. We've still got a lot of work to do, don't get me wrong. There's still a lot of work that we have to do, but I like the direction that we're going in, and that's a good thing.
What has it taken to get Kyla to this point where she's comfortable out there, she's comfortable using her voice?
I think the thing with Kyla was, there weren't a lot of people that recruited her to play at this level. So when that happens, I think kids try to prove too hard that, yeah, I can do this. So every day of practice, she would try to do 10 things she's not good at, and would just make herself frustrated, and would dig herself a deeper hole. And she would try so hard that it would just completely backfire. And this season, she's completely comfortable, this is my role. This is what I can do. This is what I'm good at, and that's all I'm going to do. I'm not going to try to do anything to prove to anybody that I deserve to be here. And hopefully, she'll get a tremendous reward out of this. I hope she does. She works so hard. She's a great teammate, and I like to see those kids get rewarded. So I was thrilled for her today.
You did an overview of these 10 days. Are you surprised at all how good you were defensively? They had 9 points, I think, in the first 4 or 5 minutes, and ended up 17 and a half, and that's kind of been consistent in the offense just, continues on a upward.
Yeah, we're not I don't think we're as good a defensive team, obviously, as we've been in years past. There's nobody out there like Abby, and it might show up when we play a team that's got 5 offensive players on the floor. But there's no Kia Nurses, and there's no Gabby Williams out there, or Stewie's, or Mariah Jeffersons. We just don't have those people, which is fine. So our defense has been more, all right, what's the scouting report for tomorrow? All right, here's what we have to do tomorrow. We have to be really good at these things tomorrow. And for the next game, it might be 3 completely different things. Whereas in the past, we would go, this is how we're going to play. And we really don't care what you're going to run. This is what we're going to do. And now we have to do it this way when this kid's in the game. We got to do it this way when we sub. We got to do it this way when, they have the ball over here. So it's a lot of just cross your fingers and hope it works.
Do you enjoy that part of it, a little bit, where you kind
No.
of hang now? I didn't think so.
No, I enjoy when it works. I enjoy when they see that it works, and then they get a kick out of it, and then I feel good for them. I don't enjoy the process of trying to get it into their heads that this is how we have to do it. We should be able to do more things with Liv in the game, but because we don't really have a sub for her that can do what she can do, we have to be careful. And we're not used to being careful on defense. We just come and attack you. So the more Liv gets a little bit better at doing things, and the more ways that we can change our defense, that will excite me. That she's gotten better, or that Kristen's gotten better, or Anna's gotten better. And they're improving. They're improving. It's funny how that where you're looking at things really changes how you see things. So after our first couple games, the perception, probably rightly so, was these guys are terrible. Like, they don't look like anything like Connecticut. This is awful. Why? Because our expectation is so high, you know, and it was like a disaster. But we were 2-0 and we won both games. So when we went down to Temple, Tanya said to me, she goes, I'm surprised how good you guys are. I didn't think you beat us good this early. So it's interesting how, you know, the way we look at it because of what we expect and the way outside people look at it. So we have to change our lenses.
Liv getting that foul.
These are not the same, huh?
Liv getting that foul trouble though, kind of, you know, I mean, I know it's not an ideal situation.
Yeah, that can't happen. That can't happen. If I take her out, it's because I want to take her out, not because I have to. And it's the kind of fouls. Well, the third foul was just a ridiculous call on that post move. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see on Sunday and we'll see on Tuesday. Who do we play after Dayton? Everybody know?
Seton Hall.
Oh, where do you see that game? Oh, Jesus, Mary and Joseph.
Are you happy with how Kristen's doing so far? She was 7 for 14 tonight. She seems to be kind of being able to chip in, put in points, somewhat quietly, but seems like very efficient from the field. Is she giving you what you've been looking for out of her?
Yeah, I think she's a little disappointed in the way she's shooting the ball from the three-point line. I know she's a really good three-point shooter, but I like when Kristen is involved in the offense a lot, not just standing there waiting for the ball, you know. And I still, you know, encourage her all the time. Every time you touch it, you know, put some pressure on the defense. Put pressure on the defense. You know, one of the best plays that we had today was when she got to the baseline. They clogged it up. We kicked it out. And then finally Crystal ended up with a 3 from the corner. That's stuff we've been working on. And you know, maybe last year she went flying in there and got an offensive foul. I don't know. But I like that she's putting pressure on the defense. And, you know, sometimes we forget she's only a sophomore. You know, we forget Liv's only a sophomore. That's a lot of growing to do, a lot of growing pains.
Do you like the mindset that Meg had today? I mean, she started the game awful. She missed a couple of layups. She made a poor defensive play, but she put it behind her and played pretty well the rest of the way.
Yeah, you know, I say this about Megan all the time, you know, it's a blessing and a curse when you see yourself as a scorer, because you think you can score anytime, anywhere, against anybody. And part of being a scorer is knowing when to and how to. So when Meg's in the flow, she's really hard to play against. You know, and when Meg tries too hard to make something happen, it doesn't look so great. So for the most part, these 4 games, you know, she hasn't let whether the ball's going in or not going in affect how she's going to play. Whereas last year, if she had started the game the way she started today, it would have had an effect on her rest of the game. And these 4 games, you know, it hasn't happened. So she's made a huge jump from last season.
Is it reassuring to see a little more, you know, depth today after the way the first few games played out?
Yeah. As I said, I don't know that we're going to get consistent production from everybody. You know, after Sunday, Aubrey, you know, was the next great thing, and today, you know, not so much. But it doesn't really matter who it is. So yeah, our depth has to be somebody. It doesn't matter who. You know, you would love it to be like, hey, we got these 2 guys. When they come off the bench, this is what's going to happen. It may or may not. You know, Aubrey may or may not. You know, Kyla may or may not. And then if we find somebody else, they may or may not. But somebody has to. And I think they will. Again, I think they will. Because we're only asking them to do a little bit, you know, a little bit.